Hello, and welcome to the Chat with Nelly podcast. I am your host, Nelly Otare, and you're welcome to this episode. So, we had our Happy International Friendship Day episodes, and I want to say thank you to everybody who were able to send in their questions. I'm grateful. Today, we want to progress from that and talk about why hyper-independence is ruining your relationships. I know you'll be like, why so direct? Why so direct today, Nelly? But, oh well, I just thought it's something that we should talk about. So, one question that comes to mind, even to me, because I know that I do it a lot too, is that why is it that when, a friend is in trouble, we'll cross oceans to help them, we'll climb mountains, swim rivers, but the moment we are drowning, we'll put up a smile and pretend that we are fine. Why? I've never really understood it. When I do it sometimes, I give excuses like, I don't want to burden anybody. It's probably a bad time. I'm an adult. I should be able to care, cater for my own needs and solve my own problems. But if you think about it, when my friends have issues, they come to me sometimes. Are they not adults? Don't they want to solve their problems themselves? So they want to feel very independent. So why should I now be drowning and then pretend that I'm fine? Okay. But if we try to think about this deeply, right, it could be that we love being needed. There's just something nice about it. So, if someone's asking for help, we're eager, we're able, we're compromising, we're pushing our own needs to the side. But asking for help or letting someone know that, we do need help as well, we don't really like that. Do you know why? Because it comes with being vulnerable. And for most people than others, vulnerability is like a hard nut to crack. It's like maybe when you drink medicine, medication, and it gets stuck in your throat because you swallowed wrongly. You're just like there, trying to get it out, trying to figure out the feeling and escape the feeling, right? So it feels very much sweet and beautiful to have people need us, have people come to us for help. And when it's time to, for you to reciprocate that favor, because life is always two sides of a coin. We don't want to be vulnerable. Yeah. Some persons may be listening to me now and think, ladies can get vulnerable as well. Maybe this is for the men, but it's really not. Sometimes in female friendships, we may not be very honest with ourselves. So I guess you tell them, this thing, I'm having troubles at work. But you may not want to open up fully so that people get the full gist and then extend a helping hand. So it now becomes like a paradox of some sorts. But because we will view helping others as an act of love, helping others as you being loyal to your friendships, helping others as you, being kind, being generous. But you, in the same vein, in the same sentence, you will view yourself asking for help as a sign of weakness or being a burden. I told you that even me, when I'm doing that, that's the excuse I give. I'll be like, I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I'm old enough, I should be able to solve this or that. Right? So it's a really big dilemma. And I'm talking about it, and I know that as I'm speaking, I'm guilty as well. But I think that it's something that we should talk about because most times when we do not ask for help, we overburden our bodies, we overburden our minds, and then it starts to affect your friendships, your relationships, your marriage, your work, because your mind is clouded. Your mind is cluttered. You're not fully all right. Whether it is physically, whether it's emotionally, whether it's financially, you're not okay. And so you don't tend to function at 100% in anything that you're doing. Although there are persons who have mastered this act of saying I'm fine when they are not. And so it's possible that they would be slightly comfortable, even when they know that they are carrying lots of stuff in their hearts or in their mind. But because they view asking for help as a sign of weakness or being a burden, they will not want to share. So it is important that we start to see asking for help as strength. I think it's strength. For you to be able to come up and say, I need help, it is strength. You're showing a lot of strength, a lot of bravery, a lot of trust, and you're being vulnerable. Vulnerability is something so beautiful. But then we view it as weakness. When you become vulnerable, then it feels like some weight has been lifted off your shoulders, some load has been taken away from your head. You feel great. So I'm speaking to you right now. That reliable, strong friend. In your circle, you are the strong friend. You are the one that everybody will rely on. You're the one that everyone will run to. But then when it comes to your problems, you want to carry the weight alone. I'm speaking to you right now. As you hear my voice, please take a different route this time. Asking for help doesn't mean that you're weak. Asking for help doesn't make you a burden. In fact, the truth is, your friends will be happy to help you. Your family will be happy to help you. Your spouse will be happy to help you. Your colleague will be happy to help you because they love you. That's what love is about. Love is not always about the gifts and the shared activities and whatnot. Being able to have someone, a friend or a colleague or a family or a spouse who you can be vulnerable with, that is a gift that money cannot buy. I promise you. It is a gift that money cannot buy. So if you are looking at your circle now and then you don't think there's anybody that you can be comfortable with enough to be vulnerable, there's a problem. And if you're looking at your circle and you can count 1, 2, 3 people that you can be vulnerable with, but you haven't, check yourself. What is the problem? Why am I not being able to open up? Why can't I ask for help? Some people, it would have gotten to the worst of the situation before they would speak out. And then it would be hard to solve it because it's gotten so bad. It's like, having repeated symptoms in your body and then you just keep ignoring and ignoring and ignoring. And then one day you maybe collapse and you get to the hospital and they say, oh, it's at the really fatal stage. All they're going to do now is just palliative. Nah, don't be like that. I always say on the podcast, man is not an island. Man cannot be an island. That's not how we were wired to be. So, if you're listening to me and you carry everybody else's burden, please take a step back and try to check what really is the problem. Okay? I watched a Korean movie very recently. And in the movie, there was a family of people who had hearing impairment. So they couldn't speak and they couldn't hear. So they used sign language. But in the family, the father and mother had this problem. They had 2 daughters. But one of them could speak perfectly fine. She could hear perfectly fine and the other couldn't. And the one who could speak and hear perfectly fine was the older child. And because she felt she wanted to be helpful, she learned the sign language and would speak to her parents and her sister. And in the entire movie, she did not speak because she thought she was trying to help. Right? She didn't speak until the end of the movie. And she would always be there for her sister, take her. Her sister was into swimming and was trying to qualify for, a competition. So she would take her sister swimming, she would buy food, she would pick her up, drop her off, and all of that. And that was going on up to the point where the sister almost got in a fire incident because she wasn't around and her sister was home sleeping and the fire alarm went off. But because she's deaf, so she couldn't hear. So it was smoke that woke her up, and then, someone had to rescue her out. Smoke got into her lungs, and then she had problems qualifying and all of that. And the older sister carried it. She held it so much. She kept beating herself up and saying, she wasn't home at the time. And her sister said, but you understand that this is my life. And you're trying so much to live my life for me. You're trying to help, no doubt, but you are losing yourself. And the mother also explained to her that, I know you're trying to help. I know you're trying to be, nice to us, and you don't speak because you don't want us to feel like, you can speak and you can hear, so you learn the language and everything. But what you're actually doing is sympathizing. And so they explained to her that the fact that she was trying so much to help without considering what she wanted, or without considering that, she may need help as well, she was losing herself. She didn't know what she wanted to do. When her sister was going to stop swimming for a while, she found out that she didn't do anything else but, support her sister and have a part-time job. So you see how trying so much to just be so hyper-independent and help others without thinking about yourself can be detrimental to your own self-development. Okay? Sometimes some people use hyper-independence as a shield. We do this because, we say, it's about strength, it's we want to be an adult, because this adulthood is something else. Once you become like really an adult, you'll be like, I'm an adult now. I don't know how old you are. Come on, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, right? But I think that's a defense mechanism, because some of us may fear being perceived as needy, or we don't want people to tell us no. If some people are so scared of being told no that they would rather not ask. They don't want to be turned down. They would rather not ask. And then, but I tell people that it's either yes or no. Nothing is gonna happen if somebody says no. Okay? Other times, I've had friends tell me that they don't want to ask for help because they don't want to start having that feeling of being indebted to someone else. Yeah? But what I would say to that is that people are your friends. People are your family. For a reason. And somebody must help somebody. So if you say, okay, I don't want to be seen as weak. Okay, I don't want to be seen as needy. Okay, I don't want anybody to tell me no and then I'll start looking stupid. Or okay, I don't want to be indebted to somebody. You will never be able to ask for help and you'll get drowned. That's just the truth. So when you refuse to let people help you and you think that you're saving them from some kind of stress, what you're actually doing is you're just building a wall between you and those people in your lives. And then it is important to know that intimacy is a two-way street. Now, I don't mean necessarily romantic, right? Even in friendship, there's bond growing, right? You are foiling the relationship, you are, growing the relationship. So when you build up walls like that because you don't want to let people in, you're not playing the two-way street game, right? If you are only ever to play the giver, let's say, in the relationship, you want to be the one that is helping the other person should just let you be, you can take care of yourself. You're just building, like you're managing transaction. That one is transaction, like bank transaction. It's not a relationship, because a relationship is give and take. Friendship is give and take. Okay? Now let's take it from this angle. Imagine how good you feel when you're able to show up for that your friend. How good you feel when you're able to show up for your parents. How good you feel when you're able to help that colleague. So why are you robbing your own friends? Why are you robbing your own spouse? Why are you robbing your own brother, your own mother? That exact same feeling of joy. Is that not just us being selfish? Think about it. If you feel very good when you're able to help people, so why won't you allow others feel good by helping you? And it's not like, it's a situation of you always need help. Nah, it's just sometimes. Sometimes. So being hyper independent or trying to be hyper independent is detrimental. Nobody is saying you shouldn't have a sense of independence. Of course, by all means, do. But then do not be dying. Do not be falling. Do not have the world under your feet crumbling, and then you will not hear help. 4-letter words, powerful 4-letter words. It is important that you learn how to let others help you. Ask for help. That's why I'm so grateful to the listeners who were able to send in questions about things that they wanted to know or things that were bothering them. That's a form of asking for help, and I was glad that they were able to be vulnerable with their questions. So it is important, my very beautiful listeners, that it's you hold those 4-letter words closely to your heart. If we were to look at hyper independence and how it shows up in our real life, relations, right? When you build up that wall, how it sounds like is you start saying things like, oh, I was just doing something, so I needed a break. I'm so sorry that I ghosted. Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't take your calls. Oh, I'm so sorry that I was mean to you. So you practice becoming distant when you're going through a personal struggle, and then you reappear maybe months later or weeks later giving those kind of excuses. That kind of behavior is hurting your friendship. If it is a romantic relationship, you expect your partner or your spouse to read your mind, or you take up a lot of emotional load, then there's resentment, and then there's explosion, and before you know, you're having issues that are, how do they say it when a divorce happens? Is it irreconcilable differences? But then it starts from you not wanting to speak up. When you speak up about an issue, you're asking for help. Do you know? You're asking for help because you're trying to say, this thing is eating me up. Please, I need help. Can you stop this particular behavior? Can we work around this particular situation? Can we figure out a fix for this particular problem together? You're asking for help, oh. It's not always about asking for money or asking for food or asking for connection. It can be just you being able to speak out and say, what you said yesterday hurt me and I am annoyed, I'm offended. Can you please explain your thought process while you were saying those things? Did you mean something else? Did I understand something different? Those kind of conversation. At work, some of us don't like to ask for help. We'll be burning out, we'll not ask for help. We'll keep on taking extra tasks. Just because you feel like, if you had asked for help now, you admit defeat in front of your colleague, then your boss may think that, this one is not viable, it's not strong enough. But I promise you that at work, work is even like the worst place to not ask for help. It's like the worst place to be hyper independent, because if you decide now you break down because of stress at work, it will not blow up to one day. They'll find somebody that will take your shift, find somebody that will man your office till you are better very quickly. So please, take care of yourself. Don't let work overshadow your health. Don't let work take over your family and all of that. Find a way to balance it, even if it means you have to share your hours. Okay? So I'm pleading that today we unlearn this particular perspective. Let us unlearn this particular perspective. Okay? Asking for help is not handing over your responsibility. It is not. It's inviting somebody you trust into your world. So think about it. The other person is going to feel, when people share stuff with me, maybe they need my advice, they need my help, I usually feel so privileged. I'm like, okay, thank you. My friends were attest. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for trusting me, because it's a big thing to be vulnerable with somebody else. Okay? And then when I mean asking for help, I don't mean that you have to start spilling your deepest trauma if you're not comfortable to. Just try starting with the small things. Maybe you want to talk. Say, oh, please, do you have time? I really want to vent right now. I'm so upset about this and this. Or, oh, I need a favor, right? Or you need help with a simple task. Ask. The worst that can be said is no. I know that I've seen memes and videos where, they'll tell the guy, oh, talk to a girl. The worst she can say is no. And then maybe she does something extra or more hurtful than no. But it doesn't change the fact that you tried your best. You stretched your hand to ask for help. Okay? And then when you want to ask for help, be direct, be specific. I'm having a really overwhelming week. Please, can you give me one day? I just need us to grab tea and just talk for 10 minutes. Can we have a night call? Just be specific with what you want. If it's money you need, ask. And then be honest enough about the time you really can pay. And if by the time reaches you cannot pay, tell your friend, tell your colleague, tell your parent, tell your brother, whoever borrowed you, whoever lent you the money rather. I know that it's time for this, but I can't meet up now. Please, can you give me more time? That's its courtesy. Okay? Vulnerability is the currency for real intimacy. And like I said, intimacy is not only in romance. In friendship, there is intimacy, there is bond. It's not a physical something. It's emotional. Adding currency to your emotional bank. If you're standing strong, if you're a strong person, it doesn't mean that you have to stand completely alone. True strength is knowing when to stretch out your hand to ask for help. I promise you, you have a good feeling, and the person helping you also have a good feeling as well. So you don't have to carry the whole world on your shoulders so that you can show that you're worthy of love or support. Nah. It is important that you remember that hyper-independence does not help anybody. It just wears you out. And vulnerability is not evil. It helps with intimacy, and you can be vulnerable. You should be, so that you can balance your emotions out. You won't be pent up. You won't have your mind cluttered. So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. I really hope that something has struck you. Something must have rang a bell for you. So yeah, this is what we have on the show today, on this particular episode of the podcast. Till next time, bye.